Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's Pick a Dragon reading, we are going to be looking at how your power is growing. And this is really exciting because if you came to this reading, that is a sign that your power is growing and you are being bestowed with these blessings, with these gifts that have always truly been within you, but that you're now ready to access because you are ready to use this power responsibly, wisely. And I do want to mention this is power that is used for love, for kindness, for positive purposes, not to control or subjugate or exploit or anything like that. Because I know the idea of power can be disturbing to some, and especially, as it grows, it can be nerve-wracking. Like, you don't want to be like the type of people that use their power for negative reasons, and you're not, because you're here. So what we are going to be doing today is we're going to start by looking at how your power is meant to increase. So these will either be energies that you're already experiencing, that you're starting to recognize, or ones that you haven't encountered yet that are on their way. What I want you to pay attention to is, for some of you, you might be really confronted with the energies that come up, not because they are upsetting, but rather you may feel like, am I able to be this way? Am I able to create this, to wield this power? And yes, that's the reason you were drawn to it. If the energies I'm describing are already familiar, where you're like, I already do this, this is already, very much in my life, definitely pick another group. Congratulations on being super powerful. That's a really cool thing. But ultimately, this is something that is meant to just improve your life and the lives of others. So once we look at what this power is and get an idea of that, we're going to go into the tarot and we're going to look at a couple of different things. First, we're going to look at how you can step into / receive these energies. So that's basically just looking at, is there anything you need to do in order to access these energies, or is it just a matter of letting in and receiving them? Then we're going to look at if there are any Speaking of blockages, clearly there was one inside me because I just burped. But we'll see. We're not going to look at what the blockages are. They might be different for all of you. We're going to look at how to release them if they're there. There may not be any there, so we're just kind of seeing just what you need to do to release any that are in the way. Then we're going to look at blessings you will receive as a result for stepping into this power, as a result of embodying this power, just what good things will come your way. And then we're going to look at how embodying this power will help others in the world around you. I'm really excited to look at that one. And then what we're going to finish off with, they are technically guidance cards that we're using, but you don't really need to take the guidance. You can if you want to, but it's more so about looking at when you integrate these energies and they just become naturally part of you. We're going to see how this power will not only make your life easier, but also how you will evolve as a result. So I'm really excited to look at that. I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to do this reading today. So thank you for being here. So we have 3 different groups for you to choose from today. And don't worry, every single group has the same cards, so you're not missing out on anything. But starting with group number 1, we have the first stack of cards, and I have this labradorite dragon carving on top and a pretty bird singing for you. And then for group number 2, we have the second stack of oracle cards, and we have this pyrite toothless on top. I need to watch that movie again, How to Train Your Dragon. I remember it made me cry the first time I watched it, and I was like, I can't believe this movie's making me cry. And so I haven't watched it since then, but maybe I can watch it this time without bawling. And then finally, for group number 3, we have the third stack of oracle cards and this Amazonite dragon head. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one. I would not be shocked that you're a powerful person. You clearly have good taste, so you attract a lot of powerful things, I bet. But with that being said, intro squad, we're going to go ahead and make our wish. We're using the Banished candle today, especially because it uses the dragon's blood scent, which I love. So I'm going to set the intention to banish that which does not serve, that which keeps us from our power, keeps us from our connection. If you want to set the intention to banish anything else as well, feel free. And if you want to wish about anything else that has nothing to do with the theme of banishment, go right ahead. But my question for you is, what are you bringing in to replace what you are banishing? So I guess you can share what you're banishing if you want to, but I want you to focus on what you're bringing in instead, to just make that more real and make what you're banishing less so. I am bringing in something new this week on Sunday, the very first astrology reading, or well, sign-based reading. It's still tarot-based. Is going to be up on my channel, and I'm really nervous because it's very different from what we're used to, but I'm excited to do something new and try something different. So be on the lookout for that if you want to. And yeah, I hope you guys end up enjoying it, because I think I might want to do it more often. But I'm going to go ahead now and focus on what we're wishing for. If you want to pause the video and put your energies and intentions into the candle, go right ahead. And as usual, any candles on Angelic Magic 88 site, you can use code ASO10 for 10% off on and support a wonderful candle creator. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. Also, another question. What is your favorite dragon in media? Mine is obviously Dragon from Shrek. I don't know if you needed... Oh, okay, but no, actually, I think my favorite dragon is... I think her name is Penelope. Is it Penelope? From Barbie Rapunzel. I think Dragon from Shrek is probably my second favorite dragon. Yeah, let me know that. Okay, that's all I have for you guys in this intro. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me read for you. And once you have picked your group or groups, I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. You guys chose this labradorite dragon carving and the first stack of oracle cards. This is going to be your reading on how your power is already growing or how it is meant to grow. So full breakdown of the reading in the intro, but we're going to go ahead and start by looking at the first question, which is, how is your power growing, or how is it meant to? So to start, we have the third eye chakra with the mind, openness, flexibility, imagination, learning. I also want to mention, as I was getting ready for your reading, I was hearing Don't Stop Now by Queen in my head. So that song seems to be for you. It should be anyway, because it's a bop. We also have Dusty Pink Dragon from Andromeda. Prepares all your chakras to embody higher love. Accept and radiate higher love. Touch others with its flame. Also, the song Higher Love, Whitney Houston does a great rendition of it. I can't remember who is the one that originally sings it, but the Whitney version is my version. We also have Grief, Accepting Loss. We have You, Determined. And finally, we have Gaia. Just make sure these are all in the... Yes, they are. I really love to see this, and I do feel like this grief card is going to resonate differently for all of you, and I don't want you to be afraid of it. And I feel like for some of you, if you're already integrating this, you're like, don't worry, so I'm not. And I would be like, that's wonderful. This is really powerful. The power that you are stepping into, first of all, is centered within your mind. But it's not necessarily about linear, logical, conscious thinking. Some of it is, and how you use that aspect of your thinking is part of it. But it's more so the expansion of your mind in ways that go beyond the limitations of what we believe possible. And I know that sounds kind of like, oh yeah, like it sounds like a giant platitude, but there's a difference between knowing and being. And the difference is that this power that is coming to you is a power that is being. And what you are being given is a level of timelessness, just like this video, where you are not operating on the same, literally on the same frequency or on the same perspective as a lot of other people. Your power is expanding in a way that is allowing you to integrate even deeper, more loving energies that feel incredible for you and incredible for all those that are around you. This power is also making you open and excited, but also relaxed about where you are, where you're going, and what you want to do with your life, how you want to share yourself with the world, what you want to explore within the world. There's this joyful expansion of what you're becoming without feeling the need to force or push. There's a surrender into your own flow. And also, for those of you that may be grieving right now, which if you are, I do just want to say, like, I'm so sorry for whatever you've lost, whether it's a loved one, a way of living, you know, something that was very meaningful to you. No matter what it is, I just want you to know how sorry I am. And I'm just sending you so much love, and I hope you receive it. I know you will be receiving love no matter what. But if you are in one right now, I do feel like part of what this power is doing is giving you the liberation to grieve in the way that is true to you, not in the way you think you should. And actually, I think that the grief that you may be experiencing is something that will help you slow down when you want to speed up, because it's kind of one of those things that demands attention. And it actually will be something that brings you more deeply into love, because first of all, grief is love with nowhere to place it. Grief is the sign of love that exists. But also, I feel like there's something in you shifting where I think everybody here has experienced grief to some degree. If not, you are very blessed. Your acceptance of that experience and of it being part of the human experience is one that is making you more fearless for potential opportunities in the future and to live life on your own terms, especially when it comes to your own flow and how you choose to treat people and operate in the world. If you are someone who struggles with things like people pleasing, or if you're a people pleaser in recovery, or if you are somebody that tends to diminish your own inner light when you go out into the world, part of what this power is doing is releasing a lot of the mental constraints that make you feel like you have to keep yourself small, or that get you in this mindset of scanning for other people's needs without thinking of yourself. What's actually happening here is that there is a discarding of a lot of societal conditioning, family conditioning, belief systems that don't serve you and never did. But at the same time, it's not coming from a place of rebelling or rejecting. It's coming from a place of release, where you're like, oh, I don't need this. And actually, if you are in a grieving process, one of the confusing things about this time is that you may have like these experiences of just extreme bliss and loving connection in tandem with these deep feelings of pain and loss. And it might be weird. It's like laughing and crying at the same time. And it might be a weird thing to experience. It feels weird as I feel it. And you might even feel like, am I doing something wrong? Because I'm experiencing all these positive things too. And what you'll realize is no. In fact, it's probably a very beautiful reprieve from what is a very intense process. But I do feel like for those of you that aren't currently in a grieving process or that have moved through one, I do feel like your power that is growing is going to be bringing comfort to people that are in the midst of one, and also just others who really need some light or some love. And you may not even have to acknowledge them or say anything, but you just being in their presence, for whatever reason, they start to just feel a little bit better. Not only that though, if you are a creative person or have been struggling with creative blockages, you are getting that energy back. You're getting that inspiration back. you're also giving yourself permission to not create from a place of needing to produce, but rather create from a place of exploration and enjoyment of the process. Because I think that a lot of your most powerful creations are going to come from that. Music seems to be a very significant thing as well. Pay attention to the music that you're listening to, because uplifting music, music that has messages that resonate with who you're becoming, that resonate with boundlessness, expansion, whimsy, all of that is helping you grow in this way. One thing for sure is that your imagination is becoming a lot more powerful and a lot more vivid, and you might wonder if that's even possible if you already have a really vivid imagination. But even if you don't think in pictures, I guess I wonder, I think in thoughts and pictures. So for those that only think in like thoughts or words, is it words, sounds, voices? How do you imagine? Is it just through the creation of word? If you have that type of brain, let me know. I would be very curious. How you imagine is going to expand, and there's going to be a lot of small upgrades as you step into this power, where things that you used to do in a rigid or certain way, you just have these moments of, why am I doing it this way? And you change instantly. And not only that, you recognize how good it feels. And it makes it so much easier for you to break out of habits and patterns that maybe you've been trying to release for a long time. Not only that, though, this power is allowing you to embrace the energies of Earth more deeply and understand Earth's cycles more, and how your cycles, your own personal cycles, energy cycles, for some of you, potentially menstrual cycles, whatever sorts of cycles you may be going through, how they kind of correlate, and how every phase of a cycle is meaningful. And part of what this power is taking the most out of that time and using it to your benefit without consciously planning to, but instead by just doing what feels right and flowing with what is. Not only that, though, you are becoming a lot more unapologetic about the positive thoughts you're cultivating and the positive perspective you have in the world. And let me be clear, this positivity is not negating or denying the very real and horrific realities that human beings are facing right now, but rather it's one that recognizes that humanity needs this perspective, not only to make things better, because hope is one of the most powerful forms of change, but also in order to be able to serve and not be inundated by just the weight of all the things that are wrong. Part of your power is you're part of what's right. And I know I say there's really no such thing as right and wrong, but you are what's right in terms of what's making the world better. A lot of what this power is not being limited by the mind in ways that makes you feel powerless. And instead of thinking about how you want to be more powerful, it's less about thought and more about intuitive action that stems from dreams, your imagination, inspiration, and a willingness to just do things differently to see what happens. A lot of what this power is giving yourself the freedom to find what's right for you and discard it or add to it at any time or any way. And the noise of others that tell you to do things a certain way, or that tell you this is the only way to do something, that is, you're almost not even going to hear it anymore. You're not going to see it. And if it comes your way, it's not even going to impact you. And, you know, something that might have impacted you really deeply in the past, it's almost like it doesn't even, you can't even see it. And that's going to allow you to be such a much more powerful creator in terms of, oh, I love the sound of cicadas. I just have to appreciate it. It just like, it just feels so good. It just brings me back to like my childhood and warm, fun summers outside. And yeah, I don't know. I love that noise. I know some of y'all, the cicadas themselves kind of freak me out, but like I love the noise they make. nothing is stopping you. And a lot of where this power, this determination is coming from is from the recognition that you're not limited by what you thought you were. And the limitations that do exist that are outside of your control, you're finding a different way around. You're not letting it be something that's a finality or something that means that nothing can happen or nothing can change. You're working within the parameters you're given and then finding ways to overcome them and move mountains in ways that will blow people's minds and honestly blow your mind as well. If you are someone who resonates with being more fearful or anxious, you might be really tripped out by how almost fearless and explorative you become, especially if that's out of character for you. And you might find as well, one of the things that this power is allowing you to do as well is to develop a deeper connection with the earth around you. See how you are part of it, how you are made from earth stuff, and recognize how you are safe within it and you are safe within yourself, and how that safety, but also that willingness to accept whatever comes your way and knowing that you can handle it, you can handle challenge, that is just going to help you go so far. It's like, it's not saying that you won't ever experience fear or you won't ever be nervous or uncertain, but it's just not plaguing your mind, and it's not in the forefront of your thoughts when you have an idea or when you are daydreaming or something like that. And daydreaming is a big part of this. I'm thinking of a George Carlin quote, which he is an excellent comedian. May he rest in peace. If you've never seen any of his stand-up, he's like basically a funny philosopher and he's excellent. And somewhere he talked about he believes that people should daydream for at least an hour a day. And I think he's right. Now, having the discipline to actually do that is a lot harder in our fast-paced life, but I would say that is exactly what you need. The power to slow down and daydream, or just do nothing, or just chill within yourself. That is going to be something that is this power is actually going to be so pivotal and profound for you, because not only are you going to be achieving things and accomplishing things in ways that are not only so fast, but so effortless as well, where you're just like, what? I did that and I wasn't, like, I feel like you're going to be reaching goals you didn't even set and be like, wow. And then on top of that, you're just going to feel really good. I think that there's a lot of loving energy around you. I do think the universe is going to be communicating to you through music, and like all of your energy centers are receiving powerful upgrades. Pay attention to your dreams, write them down. And also, when you first wake up, don't force, if you can, don't force yourself to get up immediately. Try to rest in that liminal space between sleep and awakeness. I found that space to be very powerful for receiving messages and ideas and inspiration. So if you have a hard time when you're fully awake slowing down and daydreaming, maybe make it a goal for like the early part of your day. You might hear messages, and maybe that's where you start, is just getting in tune with yourself in that way. But ultimately, you are reaching a massively powerful level of power. Gotta get that word count in, where you are tuning into your own flow, you're tuning into yourself and stepping into creator consciousness, Christ consciousness, where you're leading from a place of love, creating from a place of love, acting from a place of love. And it's never been easier because you're not thinking about it. You're not trying to cultivate it. You're just being it, doing it, and sustaining it by naturally acting in ways that feel good for you and that are sustainable. And really where this power comes from is like, it's a lot of different things. There's definitely some divine essence to it, and some of this power too comes from your determination to live in a world that you do imagine that is kinder, that is grander, that is more compassionate, that is more balanced, that is more aware, that is more conscientious. And you're starting by being that example. And not only that, but you're creating new pathways of what it looks like to be and what it looks like to experience things that, you know, humans might have very rigid ideas around. And not only that, by just literally walking out into the street, by interacting with someone, you're doing energy work and healing work by just, you know, maybe acknowledging them or giving them a compliment or being a listening ear to someone. Like, you're going to find that people want to be around you a lot. And if you're a more introverted person, that might be kind of overwhelming for you. But what you're going to realize is that part of your power, you're going to be less drained by those experiences, because part of what this power is doing is increasing the strength of your own energy field and increasing the strength of your own mental fortitude. And so it's allowing you to not take in and chew on or digest thoughts, feelings, beliefs that aren't yours. And it's allowing you to be crystal clear with yourself, with your energy, with your flow. And I think one thing you might realize as well is that through this power is that you don't have to be tuned in to everyone in order to serve. You can actually serve much more easily by being yourself. You don't have to overextend yourself to help others. You can actually just show up as yourself, as it feels good, and watch magic happen. Part of this power is not asserting, it's just surrendering to all this loving beauty within you. And if you got any messages about this as I was channeling, feel free to share them as well, because I would love to hear what's coming through. So overall, it starts with the mind, but it extends to every aspect of your being. And it's really about expanding your mind in ways where you're thinking in the 5D, you're thinking in the spiritual realms, and seeing how it connects to the material realm, how they are connected, and how having that 5D focus creates 3D change in ways that will honestly blow your mind, because it was hard to have faith in them or even access them or live by them in a previous state of mind where it was hard to understand or trust them. So while I'm shuffling, thank you to everyone who takes time to leave me a little like. If you're enjoying this reading, it lets me know what you guys are wanting to see. It helps other people see this video. I also found out that you only have to watch the first 30 seconds of an ad in order for me to be supported. So thank you to everyone who watches the first 30 seconds. I didn't realize that they were giving you ads that were like 45 minutes. That's insane. I would never expect you to do that. And I'm so sorry. Like, if you ever thought I meant something like that, I had no idea. I had no idea. I have YouTube Premium. And honestly, I would recommend that to you guys, but it's super expensive. Like, it's ridiculously expensive. I don't understand why it is so expensive. It is worth it for me because I, you know, do, like, because I'm on YouTube and stuff, but I totally understand if it's not for you. But yeah, thank you for everyone that lets ads play for 30 seconds. And just thank you for being here and for letting me read for you and for loving yourself enough to be open to the power within you. I also think your power is expanding in ways where you will be able to communicate with plants and other creatures in ways where, like, you just understand what's going on in ways that you haven't before. Like, you'll be able to kind of understand what they're saying, or just know what they need, or know what a space needs. Like, you're just going to be so much more in tune with your environment in ways where other people might think you're like a little bit kooky, but you don't really care because you're free. That's rad. Okay. So we're going to start by asking, how can group number 1 step into these energies or receive these energies if they're not in them already, please? We have the 2 of Wands. So I definitely think that there is a planning aspect to this, which is interesting because how this becomes, I don't think there is much planning. But I almost wonder if, for some of you, I do feel like this may come to you naturally and it's part of the plan to show up in the right time, in the right way. And even just heard like 3 to 8 days or 3 to 8 weeks. But I think 8 weeks is a little bit extreme. But also with the 2 of Wands, like 2 weeks could be that as well. If there is action that needs to be taken on your part, it's planning that allows you to carve out more time for yourself and to give yourself permission to cancel plans or to rearrange plans when you do need time and space to yourself. Because I feel like the biggest part of this expansion for you and accessing these energies is slowing down in a way where your mind follows. And that might be hard at first. It does take time and it does take discipline, but it is a skill like anything else that can be built. I do feel like for a lot of you though, this is kind of part of a greater plan. I think it's coming to you very soon, whether you try to create it or not. But I also think for some of you, you may already be setting yourself up for that by like, you know, maybe you are leaving more time open for yourself, or, you know, maybe you're rearranging your schedule in ways that allow for more sleep or just more flexibility. I think just creating flexibility in general is going to be really helpful to integrate these energies. But ultimately, if you want to accelerate the process, just get into the habit of learning to empty your mind and think about nothing and embrace silence. If you can't embrace silence, I guess embrace music that's inspirational or relaxing, or maybe even sound frequencies. You can also as well, if there is anyone that you know of that embodies these things already, if they offer classes or anything like that, that might be something that could support or assist you, but you don't necessarily need that. It just maybe could give you a head start. But ultimately, I think for most of you, you're just going to receive it naturally. The only thing that I think will slow it down is if things are particularly hectic in life, or you're not giving yourself that time and space to decompress. You know, if you're doing things to kind of, you know, if you're distracted from yourself, which is fine, but it will be something that makes it harder to flow with what is. I definitely don't think that, though, that there's really anything you need to force. I feel like if there's anything you need to do, you kind of know already what it is. And if there is something you need to do that you don't know, you'll know when the time is right. And that's actually part of the power, part of the gift, is you'll naturally flow into the actions you need to take in order to receive this. Pretty cool. Okay. How can pile one release any blockages related to bringing in and embodying this gift, if there are any? Okay, oh, that's Nikki. Oops. I got comfortable. I got safe. There's like pews and everything. Okay, that is not corporate overlord approved. Okay, actually, well, no, there's two of them. Let's just take the two dragons and cover them up. So I think you know what the blockages are that keep you from connecting with yourself and that keep you from deeper peace, deeper expansion. For some of you, this might be related to substances. Obviously, like, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but for some of you, you might want to look at trying sobriety for a while. I personally think sobriety is rad. You know, especially if you use something often and under the guise that it helps with your like inspiration or with connecting with yourself, when in reality maybe it's not doing that anymore. Maybe it's leading to more anxiety, or maybe it's leading to the cultivation of energies or thoughts that just aren't useful. But I also think that whatever blockages may exist to connecting with yourself, I think you know what they are. And I think that it may take time for you to sever your attachment to them, but I think that these things the ability to sever them will get easier and easier as your power grows with this, because they just won't have the same draw anymore. And when you recognize how they take you from yourself and how they take you out of this timeless energy, and what I want you to understand about like timeless energy is that you're flowing in like this liminal space where time doesn't have the same grip on you. You're not stressed out about deadlines, even if you have them. You're not worried about how long you spent in meditation or how long you spent sitting and staring at a wall, because it was time well spent. It's almost like you're operating in ways that allow you to create and do under time constraints that would seem almost impossible to someone else, but also giving yourself the time and patience and space to go through processes that may take longer than other people expect them to. And there's no pressure around it. That's the biggest thing, is that there's no pressure. And you don't, and when you feel it with yourself, that's when you know you're falling out of that space. When you surrender into it and focus on the present, because really where the magic of it is breathing into the present. Your breath is your anchor. Your anchor is your breath. Your breath can always help reconnect you to the present moment. That is really what is going to help you get back into it. And I will say it's something that's hard to maintain consistently, always, all the time, especially just with how modern human life is. But you can always return to it. And I think you will get really good at sustaining it and really good at like just naturally shifting back into it when you fall out of it. And when you're not meant to be in it, I think it will be easy for you to step out of it and get right back into it when you're ready. And I think what the beautiful thing about it is there's an aspect of choice here for you where you don't always have to be in that place. You're allowed to be human. You're allowed to fall into energies of stress or frustration. But the cool thing is about this power is that it's being self-aware about what your human self might be going through, what emotions you might be having, what stressors you might be dealing with, and finding more constructive ways to support yourself through that process, and eliminating conclusions you come to about yourself because of these things, and conclusions you come to about what's possible for you or what's actually happening for you because these things exist presently. It's really like being present with what is and accepting that, but not letting it take you away from your higher truths, what gives you vision, what gives you meaning, what gives you purpose, what keeps you going. And instead, it's just like there are aspects along for the ride that you're learning to work with, and that is incredibly powerful because none of it becomes a blockage. It only becomes an alchemical tool to make your power grow stronger and make you less likely to succumb to stresses and pressures that would cause you to stumble unnecessarily. And like, you will have them and you might stumble, but you'll see the beauty in stumbling and how there's learning in that. And there's just like, part of this power is you're taking wisdom and understanding about yourself, about the world from every single experience that is. And there is no resisting or rejecting what comes to you or what you're experiencing, because you recognize the value in it and you learn how to observe it from beyond being in it. And that is allowing you to exist in more ways than one, and not only validate your own experiences, but also bring in support just through your own internal connection to yourself and the world that makes whatever you're dealing with 10 times easier. So let's see what blessings you will receive as a result for stepping into this power and embodying this power. What blessings will group number 1 receive as a result of stepping into and embodying this power? We have a Tower. I mean, and I would not be afraid of this. This is your life completely changing. And I think it's for the better. Literally, the Tower comes right after the Double. And you know what comes after the Tower? The Star. Hope, healing, faith. One of the most positive cards in the deck. This Tower is also power. And what this power is doing is shaking away anything that keeps you stuck in cycles and in states of being that you have far outgrown and are ready to shed. This is powerful, powerful change, and eliminating structures that may be outside of your control that you're unable to shake. Maintaining this space naturally will change your life and shake things up in ways that like might be scary at first, but see, that's okay, because you're in this powerful state where you're observing this and being like, okay, maybe this is a bit uncomfortable, or this is a bit scary, or I'm uncertain, or I'm nervous, but this is really interesting because the universe has something up its sleeve. I know that there's something more to this. You're seeing the wisdom and how things shift and change. And part of the blessing is losing what has been blocking you from greater alignment with self and greater alignment with your path, but also losing habits and behaviors for good that you've been ready to leave. It's going to be very liberating, and you're making space for so much more in your life and tearing down walls that kept you trapped, and really becoming the most cliche aspect of like living, laughing, and loving. Like you are rolling with what is and feeling a level of security in your guidance, in where you're headed, in what's meant for you. Because anything that can be taken from you, you'll recognize wasn't worth keeping. It's like you will have such non-attachment to what leaves, because you recognize, oh, if it's not meant to be there, oh, if it's gone, there must be something more beautiful, more aligned. Like part of this power is being unshakably chill with how your life is unfolding, and recognizing, like, even if you don't understand how, even if you don't understand why, you know it's going to be okay. It's actually going to be better than okay. It's actually going to be even radder than it was before. And there's like just this power within your mind where no matter what is happening around you, like this is the energy of being able to be calm when everyone else is panicking, of being able to maintain what you've cultivated with yourself without succumbing to the swarms around you. And I mean, this is an incredible level of power that I want you to understand. Like if from the conscious mind, it might seem like it's almost impossible to be there, or like you couldn't see how this is truly that powerful, but you're not going to get it until you're there. And when you do get it, you're going to be like, wow, this is like such deep levels of surrender and acceptance. Nothing can shake you. And grief actually is experienced differently because your attachment to things is different. Your attachment, your understanding of connection is different. It doesn't mean it dissipates or it disappears, but how you support yourself through it, how you process through it, how you experience loss, and how you experience attachment are changing completely in ways where they're not only healthier, but they don't have a grip on you in maybe ways that they did in the past. So for your last card, I want to see how embodying this power will help others. So how will pile number 1 help others by embodying this power, please? We have the King of Cups. You're bringing deep truth and deep wisdom to people, where you're bringing emotional nourishment, emotional comfort. You're also helping people wake up to emotional boundaries that they may have not realized they need to set. You're showing them levels of maturity and wisdom, and also how to take accountability and responsibility for what is ours and what we are allowed to say no to, what we're allowed to reject, and also how to be compassionate in the face of callousness, in the face of hate, in the face of negativity, in the face of evil, in the face of fear, in the face of loss. And alchemize it into something meaningful. How to stand in what is meaningful and true, how to stand in your own values, even when they go against the grain of everyone else. You're showing people how you can find fulfillment in self-connection. Obviously, that doesn't eradicate the need for connection with others, but how deepening that connection with self refines what connections are worth keeping, what connections you don't need to hold on to, what things are worth holding on to, or what things don't need to be held on to. You're also just helping others by bringing them a level of emotional comfort, emotional validation, emotional security, and safety that a lot of people never get. So just in general, you are becoming a trusted person for others because you have a non-attachment to what people are coming to you with. You're not using your own biases. Like you even, like part of this power too is recognizing where your biases are. And like being able to say, well, like, you know, if I were in your shoes, I might look at things this way, or in the past I saw them this way, but where are you at with things? You have this beautiful level of detachment where you actually are a wonderful sounding board for other people because you're not operating just from your perspective. you're making space for the validity of past perspectives, your own perspective, what they're thinking, what may be objective. And it's just making you a trusted confidant and a trusted friend in ways where people just feel really good around you and they feel nourished and healed around you. Like, you're going to find that people just want to be around you all the time, and people will strike up conversations with you out in public and you won't know why. And you'll probably won't get a lot of validation on this, because a lot of times some of these people you're never going to see again. But I feel like for people that are closer to you, you're going to hear like, I feel so much better when I'm around you, or like, man, like, what are you doing differently? Like, you look like, you seem like you're doing so good. Like, it feels so good being around you. Like, I'll have what you're having. And on the back of the deck, we have the Chariot. So I really feel like you're moving forward in powerful ways and creating a level of balance where you're not denying any aspects of self. You are balancing all aspects of you in ways that allow forward momentum, and in accepting all of these aspects, all of these experiences at once, you're creating the conditions for a more beautiful, complex, nuanced perspective of the human experience that allows for wisdom, perception, and understanding in ways that people can't access when they're more fragmented. So, doing the Lord's work. Okay, so we're going to finish off by looking at how you are going to evolve as a person and how your life is going to get easier as a result of stepping into this power. So to start, we have I Am a Dreamer. And the number 44, which I always see as a sign of protection. And now I'm hearing I'm a Believer. That the song I'm a Believer. Is that Smash Mouth? I don't know. But with Pisces energy, I mean, like, you are becoming much more deeply in tune with your own self energy, with universal energies, and also what is collective energy that is not yours to carry or tap into. There's a much more powerful channel of energy between you and the great beyond that is not being interfered by the collective in the same way. Like, look, this vision of someone's eyes being closed and just being very at peace. Like, you are dreaming and envisioning and imagining so much that not only comes into being, but also the ones that haven't yet sustain you and nourish you. And the ones that are maybe meant to stay dreams are ones that just feed your reality in meaningful ways. You are deepening your connection to your own imagination and deepening your connection to what is possible. Dreams, fantasies, reality, all of it. Like, life is just taking on a more beautiful perspective for you. And there's this just feeling of, I can relax and I can be free and I can dream and I can feel good. Like, if you've ever felt jaded or like these energies are inaccessible to you, part of what this power is doing is giving you the opportunity to release that and get back those nourishing, healing, dreamy energies that you've always had access to. Your dreams will create beautiful realities for yourself and others that will benefit the entire planet. Just so you know. You'll see, exactly, we have surrender to non-action. So you will feel just less pressure, and like, part of this power is not needing to force anything. You'll know when it's time to act, and you'll know when it's time to chill. And you will see the value and how, quote unquote, productive just being chill is, and just giving yourself time in your mind palace to have fun and to connect with yourself. Like, another image of someone's eyes closed. Like, I definitely think part of this power is giving yourself rest on all levels, understanding what rest looks like for you and what you might need in the moment. But also seeing beyond your two eyes and seeing and sensing into what is. Like, there's powerful third eye energies here, and I think that you're really going to be seeing realities that were invisible to you before, and seeing truths that didn't make sense to you before, that you're actually able to embody and realize that sometimes the fastest way and the smoothest way towards a goal is not by rushing there, but rather by flowing with the way the current wants to take you there. There we go, flow. That, yes. So the trigger statement is why are things such a struggle? And the true statement is, I am in the flow. Take a breath, dear one. Remember, your breath is your anchor is your breath. And I would look into Ujjayi breathing. It's a breath technique. I cannot spell it for the life of me. I think it's U-J-I or Y. If you just type, someone else maybe will type it because I'll probably forget to put it there. But that style of breath is, I found it to be very like helpful and grounding for me. It sounds like you become your own personal ocean wave sound machine. It's really lovely. Allow yourself to feel the flow of life through you. Release your need to do and just be. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. And what you will find is that you're so much stronger. And life just is so much easier because you're no longer fighting what is. And you are taking from each moment what has value and seeing value in what others would discard, ignore, or not see. And finally, yes, we have purpose. You possess the determination and dedication to consciously demonstrate love. Like, you are coming from a place that is so much deeper than need, want, or desire. It's just from truth and from authenticity. Like, what this power is meaningfully sustaining a connection to divine, loving source energy that not only feels good and empowers you, but keeps you going in the midst of those who have no access or even awareness that these energies exist. And rather than feeling the need to prove or feeling the need to defend its existence, you're evidence of it by just embodying it. And purpose takes on a deeper meaning than, you know, what you do for work or what your next step is. It's more a purposeful way to live day by day. I would not be shocked if you come into life practices during this time that stick with you for the rest of your life, in some capacity, way, shape, or form. But definitely know that this is a really, really powerful place to be. And honestly, one that I aspire to. So if you're taking classes, let me know, or giving classes, let me know. Because this is so beautiful, and it's just going to change your life in such profound ways and shift your perspective entirely. Like, you are going to be a completely different person, and at the same time, so yourself. You're like, who the hell was the past me? Because wow, that was just a lot of stuff that wasn't me. It was a lot of non-self energy. And you'll find that it's really a lot easier to feel love for the world and for others when you're just connected to what your authentic energy is, because it's so easy to love that. And you will understand why the universe loves it so much and wants to nourish you as you embody it more. And yeah, a lot of gentleness, peace, wisdom, passion, and peace in your future. So pile 1, that is where I'm going to leave your reading. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for letting the ads play for the first 30 seconds. After that, do what you want. That is the simplest and easiest way to support me. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, if you like this video, comment down below. Let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch. You can check out my social media. You can check out my candles. You can check out other videos, especially ones with extendeds. You can share me with a friend. You can go to my other videos and like them, and do the same stuff. You can just send good vibes my way. All of that is really, really appreciated. This is all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope that it resonated and brought you peace, comfort, and clarity. I love you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you are watching this. And I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose this pyrite toothless, isn't he so cute? And the second stack of oracle cards, this is going to be a reading on how your power is growing or how it is about to start growing. So we're going to start by answering that question, and we'll get into it. Full breakdown of the reading in the intro. So to start, we have the crown chakra with inspiration, ideas, spark, conception, impulse. We have spirit, we have returning, going with the flow. We have Serpent of Death. And Golden Orange Dragon, expands your light for ascension, be a peaceful warrior, help those in need, remember your magnificence. So, holy spiritual awakening, Batman. Now, I don't know why I needed to say that, but I did. No, Batman. I don't know why I'm talking about Batman, but maybe you are fear, or maybe you've been in a lot of fear. Or, you know, for some of you, you know, maybe you're coming to this reading, maybe you've never been to a tarot reading before, and I do want to say tarot and spirituality are not necessarily going hand in hand. You don't need to use tarot in order to be a spiritual person, and you can be a spiritual person and never use it. You can use tarot and never be spiritual. Anyway, for a lot of you, you already know and are on a spiritual path, so you will understand more of this, but I do have a feeling that some of you coming here might not even know why you're here, and that is because you are already waking up to the wonderful magic of the mystery of the universe and the great, loving, intelligent forces that are mysterious and grand and magical, that run within us and throughout us. And so the power that you are stepping into is a connection to, or a reconnection to, powerful spiritual expansion. And you can almost call this a spiritual high. And I kind of see them as, I see a lot of the spiritual path as one of cycles, where we have these spiritual highs, we have lows. I mean, and truthfully, I've only been on the path, you know, for, you know, 5-ish years. So I can't sit here and say I have much wisdom or experience to say. I think everybody's path is different, and maybe some, you know, experience constant connection and ability to sustain it. But what I see here for you, if this reading is for you, it's because you have definitely been disconnected from your more spiritual side, your more spiritual aspects. Like, even if you're doing spiritual practices or anything to connect you with your intuition or the great beyond, it feels like it's not hitting the same, or it just feels like there's something not fully connecting. If you've been, if you've had a hard time even feeling drawn to or connected to spiritual practice in general, I would say, and you've been beating yourself up about it, I would say stop, because it's absolutely okay. I feel like it was definitely more necessary, actually. And if you've been in a position where you've been really focused just in the material world and building your routines and just focused on your human life, and like spiritual stuff is kind of taking the back burner, how your power is growing is you're integrating all these lessons now of what you've learned in this time of perceived disconnection, and you're ready for the next high on the roller coaster of spirituality. Really what's happening here is a return to one, a return to oneness, a return to that deep, magical, powerful connection. And those of you that get it, where there's just nothing between you and the great beloved. There is nothing between. Oh, and it's the best feeling. And like, I'm like, savor it. You know that scene in Billy Madison where he goes back to visit the elementary school, and that little kid's like, I can't wait to go to hike school. And Adam Sandler like grabs his face and he's like, you stay there as long as you can. It's like that, it's just, there's no better feeling. It's just accessing, feeling, and embodying and connecting to this great love that's like always there and always around us, and that it truthfully is within us, but that just for whatever reason sometimes it's more challenging for us to access, or we go through times of just feeling disconnected to it or having our focus be elsewhere. And there's a lot of value in that process. And so if you've been beating yourself up or feeling like are you doing something wrong, or are you being punished? No, absolutely not. I feel like for some of you, the tap and natural connection to your spirituality, it's almost like it may have started to just run dry. there was value in that, and there is value in that. And it's not meant to be permanent or forever, but it can be challenging and hard, especially when you go from, it quite literally feels like, you know, a little baby bird being pushed out of the nest and having to learn how to fly. And sometimes when you're that baby bird, you hit the ground hard. But, you know, that's all part of it, and that's part of learning. And what's beautiful here is that you're ready to take the next step. And what this power is about is returning to an aspect of your human experience that you've already experienced before and have been dying to return to. And it's just time for the next round. And I'm like, definitely like, oh my gosh, savor it. Because I just love to see when anyone is in this space, because it's just so like, it's so magical. It's so beautiful, and it's so special. And what this power is really doing is just expanding your capacity to hold spiritual light. It's going to be bringing you a profound amount of answers to questions that you've had to sit with in this time of unknowing, in this time of disconnection. For those of you that are here and are like, this girl is crazy, you're not wrong. But you're probably going to feel that way too. But it's like this liberating type of crazy where you're like, oh, there's so much more to this world than I realized. And it's really, you can't, there aren't words in the English language to properly describe the sensation that is what this experience is. I would encourage anyone to try, and feel free to share. Maybe you're just better at it than I am. But it truly is like, the feeling itself is just like, I don't even know how to describe it, but if you felt it, you get it. So the power you're stepping into is that great spiritual power, but a deeper connection to it. You're receiving wisdom and understanding from the cycle you've been in, understanding why you've been there, but also you're not returning to where you once were. You're coming back to something that is familiar, but in a newer, stronger form. So it's kind of like, it's like an upward spiral. It's like, it feels familiar, and it is familiar, but it's still different. Like it's a new kind. It's almost like the up level. Like instead of, you're getting the next round that you're ready for, and I think that your spirit needs. Archangel Metatron is actually heavily highlighted here, and will be working with you during this time. If there are any other angels, ascended masters, or things like that that come to mind, I would say those are confirmations for you. But I actually have my Archangel Metatron candle right here, so I kind of just want to light it and invite Archangel Metatron's presence to join us in this reading, and to just support you through your journey as you step into these new energies, and as you just step into this next path on your journey. Because part of what this power is this even on camera? No, it's not. Okay. I feel like it's like too far. Okay. We'll just, right. This is an awkward candle. Well, yeah, I can't place it there because then I can't read the card. This is a silly problem. Okay, we're just gonna move the vanish candle, and we're gonna put that one there, and we're just gonna leave the vanish candle lit. Cool. So what's happening here is you're getting your mojo back. And not only that, but challenges that you might be currently experiencing, and questions that might seem impossible to answer, and challenges, like I said, that are seemingly insurmountable, dissipating like that. And you might be like, because I feel like especially if you've been trying to reconnect to this essence and you haven't been able to, you're going to realize it's because it wasn't your fault. It never was. It wasn't something being denied to you. It's something that you were preparing yourself for more of. And the reason why you're preparing yourself for more of is because I believe that this next step, part of this power that you're stepping into, is being a conduit for these powerful, loving energies like Archangel Metatron, for example, and using that energy in benevolent ways, in loving ways, whether it's just in how you approach others, whether it's in, the type of work that you do, whether it's in how you parent, how you love another. really in every aspect of your life, how you touch a stranger's heart. And one powerful aspect of this time is that you might be led to new ways of being in the world. You might change a lot during this time, and it might be a bit turbulent, but the beautiful thing about it is that it just feels so good to be reconnected. And for those of you where this is your first time, it just feels so good to have this perspective. None of these changes or none of this turbulence seems daunting or scary, because you know it's all connected to this powerful experience you're already having, and you know it's all happening in the name of love. You're going to be called to step up in ways that maybe you've been afraid to in the past. You're going to be called to step up and share in ways that maybe intimidate you or frighten you. But what you're going to find is that your faith is stronger than that fear. And a beautiful thing about this is that you're not going to be asked to do anything that would be a betrayal to yourself. Part of what this power is doing as well is eliminating quickly and easily questions and challenges, like I already said, that have been in your way or that have been hard for you to release. You're also going to be relaxing and giving yourself some much needed grace around misunderstandings and punishments or like judgments that you've placed on yourself because you thought you were doing something wrong, or thought that there was something you needed to change or do, or that like the place that you were in spiritually was your fault. And for those of you that this is a new experience for you, you're going to find the way that you saw the world quite literally dying. And I think what you're going to find is you're going to be like, good riddance. Hearing Time of Your Life by Green Day. Good song, good band. You are just becoming a greater extension and a greater, and like I already said, conduit for spiritual light, for spiritual wisdom, for spiritual love, for divine love, and trusting in your divine flow. You are just stepping deeper onto your path, deeper into understanding and what it asks of you. And I think a lot of what this power is really doing is just returning you to something that was never being taken away from you, but rather was being, held back in order to get you set up for the conditions to carry even more and to understand even more and to embody even more of that light. It's like, it's kind of like, like how much electricity can an outlet hold? How much wattage? I don't know how shit works, and I don't know how that stuff works. But what I do know is that too much energy can fry or destroy or break what's trying to hold it. So there's a lot of actual love and compassion that comes into dissipating this tap. Because what it's doing is orienting you and giving you the time and the energy to acclimate and create and get upgrades necessary to bring more light in. And the power in this too is that you won't need to fight for your right to party. I'm hearing that. Your divine angel party, your party of love. But also, you're just going to be like moving through things so easily, and your path is going to be very clear. You're going to flow very, very easily, and like everything is just going to feel really good. Savor the hell out of it. And maybe it'll last forever and you'll never experience the sort of disconnection that I'm describing again, which if so, love that for you. But if it dissipates again, trust that it's for this continual cycle. Part of what your power is about is undergoing the process of bridging matter with spirit. And so you've been in this situation where you have been orienting your third dimensional reality, your material reality, to the greater spiritual wisdom that is about to flow through you and that is about to be shared with the world. A lot of the reason why this power is being given to you is because you have not only the system to be able to handle it, but the wisdom to use it in loving, compassionate, and benevolent ways. This sort of spiritual light can be addictive and powerful. And that's why people like cult leaders and stuff can have such a profound impact. And obviously they may not be accessing like that light, but some of them can, and some of them have, and some of them do. You know, there are people that are able to channel, I guess, you know, like Shakti, like they, that powerful spark, and they can use it in ways that are not benevolent. I think eventually that power always runs out and the jig gets exposed because it's not being given in love. But one thing that you need to understand is that you're being granted this level of expansion for a reason, and where you're being called to step up and where you're being called to share and expand. It might feel like a leap, but it's one you know you're safe making, and you know you'll know why you were called for it. This is a return to self, a return to connection you've almost wondered it even exists anymore, but also a brand new beginning in terms of how you serve love and humanity. The power that you're being granted is granted to you because the divine trusts you and knows that you want to use this power to help yourself and others and the world around you. And that's what you're going to do. If you've been feeling really bogged down by the very, very real, awful things happening in the world right now, in your community, you know, that is something, instead of feeling hopeless, you're being given inspiration of where your time is best served, how you can help, how you can heal, how you can grow, and how you can be a peaceful warrior for love. Like, you are coming in with the power to, what's the right word? What is it called when you you know, if you've ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of the firebender girlies has well, she's not a firebender. She can block chi. It's like you have the ability to do that. Like, you have the ability to block things or stop things in their tracks without fighting them. You just eliminate them. It's like you're learning the ability to stop things in their tracks without having to lower yourself to behave in ways that don't align with your greater spiritual truths. It's like creating loving solutions, and instead of, you know, feeling like there's only one way or the other, it's like finding that third path that aligns with your heart, but also creates a win-win outcome for others. This power is being granted to you to be a spiritual leader, whether in your household, in your community, in a community of your own creation, whatever it may be. And it's being granted to you not only because you're ready for it, but also because you are trusted with it. And in the time that you've been disconnected from it, your actions have shown that you've integrated the wisdom, or passed, or I don't like the idea of like passing tests, but you've done what is necessary to set yourself up for the next level without even realizing it. And you're just ready for it because this is something that you came to Earth to do. And you're part of what this power is doing is giving you greater responsibility. And there might be challenges with that, but that's part of the beauty of this time, is that the literal just ecstasy and spiritual bliss that comes from this. You'll be easily connected to solutions and ideas that you wouldn't have been able to access before this reintegration happened. And the way that you operate in the world is just going to feel really good in general, and people are going to feel good around you, and you're going to be just amazed at how you're able to diffuse. That was the word I was looking for. Diffuse situations, de-escalate situations without having to resort to a lower way of being. And I don't mean lower as in lesser, but just like not where you're at in life, I guess. So beautiful power. Love to see it. We appreciate power like that. So let's go ahead and get into your tarot. And while I'm shuffling, if you're enjoying this reading, feel free to give me a like so that, you know, I know that you want to see more stuff like this. And yeah, talk about Six of Cups. The first ever tarot card I drew was the Six of Cups. And when I got my first tarot deck, I did not believe in any spiritual stuff at all. My first like little taste of spiritual energy was just a little shift in my gut, where I felt like the Six of Cups was saying was like a returning to a part of myself I hadn't met in this lifetime. So I will say, like, if this is your first time experiencing like spiritual awakening, spiritual expansion, now it's this lifetime that's the first time for you. You're not, you've definitely experienced this in past lifetimes, especially if your South Node is in Pisces or Scorpio, or Sagittarius is what I'm hearing. But also, like, I don't know a whole lot about astrology, so take that with a grain of salt. But anywho, thank you so much to everyone who, okay, I learned if you only let the ads play for 30 seconds, that is enough to help me. So you can skip them after that. So thank you to everyone who lets the ads play for 30 seconds. I didn't realize they had like 40-minute ads playing. That's so messed up. I would never expect you to watch that. That's ridiculous and insane. But anyway, yeah, thank you for supporting me in any way. Thank you for being here. Let's get a good shuffle in here. Let's get a good hearty shuffle. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So let's start by asking, how can you step into / receive these energies if there's anything you can do? Once again, okay, once again, this freaking card is coming out and there's Nikki people on it. Hopefully it didn't come through, but if it did, I will just censor it with some random sticker I find on my editing software. But we have the Devil. So you can step into this energy more deeply by looking at what attachments make you feel blocked. Whatever you feel is holding you back. But also, interestingly enough, there's also a message that maybe you could lean into this harder. Now, I'm not going to sit here and recommend that you do anything dangerous. However, I, for myself, know that I'm the type of person that the only way to truly get something out of my system is to just do it until the pull stops. So, for example, The Sims. I will get sucked into it for 2 weeks and then not touch it for 6 months. But it's like, I gotta get the Sims demon out of me if I ever want to get anything else done. So I gotta go hard and just do it. And then I'll be so tired of it, I don't want to do it anymore. When you get hooked on a certain junk food, you just gotta keep eating it until you get tired of it. Like, sometimes you just gotta do things until you can't anymore and they lose their appeal. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's kind of like that pretty messed up punishment that parents used to do when they caught their kids smoking. They make them smoke the whole pack, and like, it's kind of like that, but it's not a punishment. But for those of you that feel like you can't seem to let go of something, and that maybe if you are like me and find that leaning into something harder actually is what gets it out of your system, maybe do that. Maybe that might actually be easier and less stressful than forcing yourself to do something that is super challenging anyway and just creating unnecessary stress. And I will say, from personal experience, one of the best things I've ever done for myself is just accept when I am unwilling to behave differently. Like, if I know I am on my bullshit today, I want to play video games and hyper focus on a world for 9 hours. All right, that's what I'm doing. And I just accept it. Because when I get it out of my system, then I can actually do what I need to do. And the thing is I have ADHD. If you're neurodivergent, you might resonate with this, but maybe you're not neurodivergent and maybe you still experience this. Just that, attachment to things. You can either just give yourself the freedom to savor what it is you can't seem to pull yourself away from and get it out of your system, because you're gonna do it anyway, or you can just keep doing it and shame yourself the entire time and be like, we should be doing this, and then feel like absolute shit. So I'm probably swearing too much. That's one of my devils I can't seem to let go of. So give yourself just permission and just be like, okay, I know myself enough to know that I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. So I'm just going to accept that this is what I'm doing and not shame myself. Maybe I'll do better later, maybe I won't. But for right now, in this moment, this is my choice and I'm sticking by it, not because I think it is the choice that is the most moral or the best, but it's the one I'm making and I'm accepting that. There's freedom in that. And it is a heck of a lot less stressful than doing it and shaming yourself the entire time. Then you can't even enjoy it. At least let yourself enjoy it. Like, come on. So that's my advice there. Get it out of your system. Unless it would be so, like, unless it would pose a risk to your life or something like that. Obviously, I wouldn't say that. Anyway, let's see how you can release any blockages related to stepping into this power. So, or related to your power in general. So, how can pile 2 release any blockages they may have that are stopping them from stepping into this power or connecting to their power in general? We have the Star. So I really do feel like there's not necessarily any blockages. I think the biggest blockage that you might be experiencing is just the aspects of what if and the aspects of not knowing and the ways that the mind can run with fear when we're struggling to have faith. The best way you can release blockages is to have faith in the unknown, even if you don't understand what is happening. And I will say, like, that is honestly one of the best things you can do. It's a lot easier said than done. But it is something where faith is just the act of placing your fears and your worries in the hands of something greater than yourself and saying, I trust you. I trust where you're taking me. And I know you'll tell me or guide me when the time is right. Like, for real, faith is kind of an action. It's a willingness to, because like, let's just take a day. You might have all day recurring thoughts of, oh God, I don't know what's happening. Oh God, like, I feel so stressed out. What if this never ends? Every single time that those diminishing, disempowering, exhausting thoughts come up, you have an opportunity to stop them in their tracks or recognize them and either pray to what you believe in or say, I am willing to let go of this and place it in the hands of something or someone that loves me, that knows what I don't, and trust that when I need to know something or how it is guiding me, I will know and understand when the time is right. It's literally like, I like to think of it, one thing that I do that brings me comfort, Mother Mary is a loving energy that I love to have. Jesus as well, where, you know, when I'm feeling, but it doesn't have to be to a specific spiritual being, to just ask if you have a hard time giving that fear away or giving that uncertainty away, ask them to help take it from you. Give them permission to do so. It might be something you have to keep doing, and it might be even a mental exercise. And also it may be a situation where you just have to let fear and faith coexist while you do what you need to do. And just know that even if you can't entirely eliminate fear, which is natural and normal, at least it can coexist with faith in a way that makes it less paralyzing. That is what I would say there. And also, starbathing, if you want to go outside and just like lay in the grass and the stars, and especially if you live in a city or a place where there's a lot of light pollution, maybe even take time, like especially if there's someone in your life that you have like a more spiritual connection to, or you know, that you talk about deep things with, or you just feel really safe with, seen with, that you love, feel loved by. Maybe plan a trip to go somewhere where there's less light and you guys can stargaze and talk about life in the world, or just be in that moment together. You know, the best type of people to be with, in my opinion, are ones that are comfortable with silence. It's okay if you're not comfortable with silence, but, you know, just be in silence with someone under the grandeur of what is. And I also think as well, learn about space. Learn about the grandness and the majesty of all that exists. Learn about how massive stars are, how massive and powerful that energy is. You know, and when you feel like, how could there be any sources that are powerful enough to change what is. It's like, bro, there's giant stars out there that are literally so big that like you can't even fathom them. Like there's plenty of energy to go around. There's plenty of love to go around. Like there's so much crazy stuff. Like we're just small little guys on our cool, beautiful planet that sustains life. It's pretty magical. And I don't know, like I feel like studying space could actually be something that just helps you or just reaffirms your perspective in ways that makes what feels huge a lot smaller, because it is. And that doesn't mean it's not valid. It's certainly valid, but, you know, it just makes it more maybe manageable to deal with. Okay, so let's see what blessings you will receive as a result of stepping into this power and integrating it. So for that, we have the Three of Wands. The biggest blessing that you will receive is just the recognition of how bright the path forward is, and the recognition of, oh, now we get to start, like, it, for me, it makes me think of like the Divine Comedy by Dante. Like you're out of Purgatorio and you're headed into whatever heaven is called in Italian. Obviously I wouldn't take it super literally. I mean, great books or poems, I don't know, great thing of text. I feel like the biggest blessing here is just the reconnection to self in a way where you realize you're not alone, but also just the energy and momentum to keep going, and the recognition of that you're well on your way and you can see the path forward. The path is being illuminated, and you know, like one of the biggest blessings about this time is there's just so much potential. And not only that, but there's also the awareness and recognition that all the time you spent leading up to this wasn't wasted. And on top of that, you're just going to be feeling really encouraged, and like there's just going to be deep knowing of like, I'm where I need to be. You're going to be feeling really aligned. And there's just a lot of courage and emphasis to move forward. And there's also a deep amount of peace in where you're at on your path. So one of the blessings is you're not wishing away what's currently happening in order for a future that you're grasping for. You know it's coming in perfect time. And part of the blessing is you're doing what I asked you to, which is savor the beauty that comes from this expansion and this awareness and this enlightenment. I also think as well, one of the blessings is you're also getting clarity on how you want to serve and on when you don't need to act. I also think that you're going to be receiving divine inspiration and acting in divine ways without thinking. And that is going to be so powerful for you, because not only is it going to lead to more wisdom, but it's also just going to be something where you're like, wow, like I didn't need to think of a solution. I just needed to have faith that it would come to me, and it will. The biggest blessing though is just knowing that the present is yours to enjoy and savor and explore, and the future is being taken care of because you're co-creating it with this beautiful source energy. So let's see how embodying this power will help others around you. How will this power... Yes, this is beautiful. You will literally be the first line of defense and the protective mechanism for a lot of others who need more spiritual light in their life. You will also be able to stand up and defend others or defend others from themselves when they need it. This Seven of Wands energy is you are becoming a force that dissipates, and we already talked about this, dissipates and diffuses negative energy, stops it in its tracks, harmful ideas, illusions that disempower the spirit. You are literally like you're like a Power Ranger for spiritual energy. If you're a Power Ranger, what color would you be? I'm the Pink Ranger. Actually, sometimes I kind of want to be the Yellow Ranger, and like honestly, if I could be any color, I'd probably be a Lilac Ranger. But yeah. Also, side note, I did not realize that Power Rangers comes from a Japanese show. The Japanese show is so much spicier and interesting, like honestly, and it's so ridiculous. I love it. They like swear, and they're allowed to have like fake blood and stuff. It's so much more interesting and silly. But Power Rangers in general is kind of silly. I don't know. I grew up with an older brother, so, you know, when you grow up with boys, you get exposed to boy stuff. Anyway, yeah, you're becoming a blessing because you're standing up to forces without even realizing it that disempower others, and giving others the courage to fight for what they want and to stand up for what they believe in. You are also becoming the type of person that other people want to stand behind, other people want to support, and you're becoming a source of inspiration. And also, one of the biggest things you're fighting against is a lot of cynicism and nihilism that seeks to disempower the perspective you have, or dismantle it or discredit it. And a lot of that is not going to come by fighting back with it, but just recognizing how sad it is to be stuck there, because maybe you've been stuck there before and you know how much it sucks. But also helping others that want to get out of it. You're literally helping others fight for what they truly want. And you're basically serving as defense for people that need it, and that need protection or need support to be able to sustain their own light, or need help finding the way to their own light, or something like that. Take that as it resonates, but I think it's really beautiful. So let's go ahead and finish this reading off by looking at how your life will get easier as a result of embodying this power, and how how you will evolve as a person as a result of embodying this power. Beautiful. We have I am abundant. So for those of you that have been really worried about, like, you know, material resources and stuff, I feel like what you're going to find is the abundance that maybe you were overlooking all along. I also think you're just going to easily receive more because you're attracting so much more. Can't see the haters in those shades. All you can see is love and light. And I definitely think that you're just savoring life in general. Life in a physical body, life with a nervous system, and the ability to perceive stimuli in physical ways. Like, I feel like you're going to embrace, like, your sensuality, and you're going to find yourself enjoying the finer things in life within reason when you can. And a lot of times the finer things in life will just be enjoying the feeling of a cozy blanket, you know, cuddling with an animal companion, or spending time in that liminal space, having a deep conversation with someone you really connect to, drinking a nice wine, or a nice flavored water, just enjoying all of the sensory aspects of life and embracing all the beauty around you. I feel like you're just really going to be glowing, and just seeing all that life has to offer, all that life has given you, and feeling so grateful for that, number one. And number two, just seeing all the possibility for where to go and seeing how you can easily attract more when you need it, and when you don't need it, and when you have enough, and when you can just be at peace with that. Yes, beautiful. We have surrendered to complete healing. So I feel like you are just really going to be feeling so good, as, like, you're not focused on healing, you're focused on living, and you're open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. And I feel like you're a conduit to help others do the same and inspire them to step up in new ways. Liberated. That's beautiful. The trigger statement is what happens next, and the true statement is I'm divinely connected. Dear soul, please remember that you never walk alone. Yeah, this is not a boulevard of broken dreams. This is a boulevard of beautiful dreams coming true, and just feeling free to walk that path. And I feel like you're moving from your heart, and moving from your heart in a way that just feels good, feels free. You're not worried about what happens next, because you know it's taken care of, and you're connected in a powerful way. And finally, we have gratitude. You fully appreciate the invaluable lessons that life lovingly presents to you. And so what's really beautiful about this is not only are you finding wisdom and meaning in what you didn't understand before, but also it's helping you have deeper faith in the unknown, because you're recognizing, oh, there is value in this, and oh, I may not know what this means and what this represents and where I'm being guided, but I know I'll understand when it's time. And if I'm not meant to understand, I trust that there's a reason for it. There's just recognition for how the divine was there for you and supporting you and helping you along the way without even realizing it. And gratitude for yourself for moving through your own processes and moving through your path in the ways that you did, and recognizing that you did your best, and just being grateful that you carried yourself all the way here, and that you didn't give up on yourself. And even if you did for a little bit, you still got back to it. And just gratitude for who you are, and for the fact that you never, like, in those times where you were lost or confused, you never got that wish to be someone else or to live a different life or for things to just get easier, because you realize those paths wouldn't have brought you to the beautiful now that you're going to be in. And you're just going to be grateful that everything has happened the way it has been, and you're being led to more. I just love the sound of cicadas. I'm grateful for that sound. I'm like, I don't really see the bugs very often, but I just love the noise that they make. It just warms my heart. But pile 2, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play for the first 30 seconds. That is super helpful. Thank you to everyone who does that. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, liking this video, commenting down below, letting me know how it resonates, subscribing if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, social media, candles. You can check out other videos, ones with extendeds. You can share me with your friends, your foes, your buds, a random stranger, anyone really. Or you could just send some good vibes my way. I'm sending good vibes your way. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Amazonite Dragon Head and the 3rd stack of cards, this is going to be your reading on how your power is growing or is about to grow. So if you'd like a full breakdown of the reading, there is one in the intro, but we're going to start by looking at how it is growing in general. So to start, we have intuition, we have the indigo, we have fire and water dragon, enables your life to flow with loving force. Prepare for change and to move forward quickly. Expect the unexpected. Have fun. We have Actrimus. And we have challenge, standing up for your rights. So the really cool thing I do want to mention is this reading is different from the other two, for sure. But for every single group, the powers that are coming through are related to the 3rd eye and crown chakras. So I do feel like collectively we are all undergoing intuitive and spiritual shifts right now and expansion. So I can see why this energy is coming through, and I just think that's exciting, and I just want to celebrate that fact. But for you, this is really exciting, and I want to start off by saying thank you for what you do. I can tell that if this reading is for you, you are someone who cares deeply, is loyal as hell, and fights for what you believe in. And I can definitely see that one thing that you've been struggling with is a sense of, I don't know if despondence is the right word, but I guess a lack of faith and a lack of hope in what you've put your work into, what you've tried to move forward in. I feel like for a lot of you, you could be activists or just people who are very focused on creating a better world and are willing to go into spaces that maybe others would shy away from, and to put yourself in positions that others wouldn't dare to even go in order to make things better. Like, you're one tough cookie. And if I were getting in a fight, I would honestly probably call you. Dainty wrists. Although my cheer coach did once say I have a mean left hook. So, you know, maybe I would when the adrenaline's going and all that Aries energy. I don't know. I guess I'll call you if I need you. We'll find out. But you are softening in a way to get stronger. Because one thing that I do sense with you is that there's understandably just like a lot of anger and a lot of frustration, especially because it seems like within the circles that should be supporting and helping your goals, like, it's already frustrating enough to deal with the forces that go against the change you're trying to create, that undermine the work you have been dedicating yourself to. But it's a whole other thing when the people that are on quote unquote your side, or that are fighting in the name of the same cause, or are focused on the same cause, are bigger adversaries, or are becoming a bigger problem than what the focus of what you're trying to fight against is. I almost feel like it's like you're dealing with two waves of frustration. And I see that, and I understand that. And I can also see some frustration and confusion, because you know that these people don't necessarily mean harm, like that you guys have similar goals, but it just seems like the very human reality of, it's like it's human ego getting in the way of a greater cause. And I think that there is a part of you that has tolerated a lot of that, or been on the receiving end of some pretty bullyish behavior. And I feel like you're okay with dealing with it when it's coming from a source that's like, that you're standing up against. But when it's supposed to be your ally or someone that you lean on, it's like, it feels like a deeper betrayal. That may not resonate for everyone, but for some of you, I feel that very strongly. Part of this power is standing up to that. And that may not be proving a point or trying to be right. It may just be not needing to be in those spaces and becoming better aware. Part of what this power is recognizing intuitively, before you have to learn the hard way, where your time and energy is best put, and when maybe it's time to go on your own, or maybe lead and recruit others to help follow. You might resonate with the term, like you might resonate with being like an indigo child or something of that nature. If not, it's okay. But what I really see here is a reconnection to your higher purposes, in a way where you're letting go of a lot of the nonsense that was dragging you down, and recognizing it for what it is. Because I think there was a part of you taking personal responsibility, or genuinely wondering if you were doing something wrong, and realizing that in the name of justice, of advocacy, of support, of positive change, of positive momentum, not only out in the world, but in how you move about in your life, sometimes the best thing to do is just remove yourself or do things differently. And what I really see happening with your power is recognizing where it is best put, and recognizing how much stronger it is when it's in the proper environments for it to be cultivated and channeled, and not be sabotaged or subdued by the chaos or the nonsense around you. I really do feel like part of your power is recognizing what is not your responsibility to hold on to, and also recognizing when you've outgrown certain environments, certain groups, certain people, that though you might have similar goals, the visions of how you're getting there are not aligning, and accepting that without feeling like you have to feel guilty about that, or that you have to apologize for that. I also feel like part of your power is leading you to inspire others who feel that same sense of despondence, or that same sense of disconnection from those who they thought had similar goals as them, who they resonated with, but are just finding that there's not a whole lot of safety in those spaces. What I really see here is you standing up. Part of what this power is doing is helping you stand in leadership in ways where you're brave enough to stand up for what you believe in. Not that you weren't brave enough before, but to stand up to those who would undermine you because they're more interested in winning than they are furthering a goal or a cause or a greater purpose. I also feel like you are becoming very clear. What this power is doing is making your intuition so strong. And I know I already said this, but you don't need to avoid that which you know what to avoid without having to learn the hard way. I know I said that already. But also, part of what this power is doing as well is in the shedding of that which is draining you and dragging you down, you're not only making space for your own self energy to literally take up space again, but also you're bringing in more of your own energy. I also see what this power is doing is reconnecting to aspects of your inner child, which you do have a strong inner child connection. It's just you're making it even stronger. That's part of what this power is doing. And it makes me think of like the resolve that like especially coming of age kids have, where they will do anything to make change. They're brave. You know, it makes me think of like, for example, Mikey in the Goonies, or TJ in the cartoon Recess, like these energies of these, you know, kids that are leaders and they're dreamers and they believe in something and they're inspirational and they speak in ways that make other people follow them and be inspired by them and are willing to follow them even when it seems mad or when it seems scary. You're stepping into your power in a way where you're accepting the consequences and the realities that come with forging your own path and dealing with the response of those who are not brave enough to do that themselves, and recognizing that that's theirs and you're on your own path. And realistically, you're probably going to be so busy and so focused on forward momentum, you're not even going to pay any attention to that. And things that maybe would have dragged you down in the past or really like upset you or hurt you, you're not even thinking about it because you're like, oh, well, they just clearly have too much time on their hands. You know, maybe if they were out campaigning more or doing something else, like, you know, maybe they would feel better. But it's really, there's like a level of healing here where you're recognizing a lot of the things that maybe made you feel like you weren't good enough to take up space or to be a leader or to power forward with what you're trying to create in the world. You're realizing those things don't have as much hold over you anymore. And you're also realizing like a lot of that just comes from a place of a lack of self-reflection and, you know, people with too much time on their hands or, you know, things like that. You are stepping into a place where you no longer need to explain yourself and where you recognize this is somebody that just wants to bring in drama, or this is somebody that is so focused on the wrong things they can't see the forest for the trees. And rather than trying to convince them of that or get into a debate with them or even trying to kindly talk to them and see what's up, you're just recognizing this is not worth my time. I'm doing tangible, valuable things with my time, and this is what else you're going to see. You're going to see results. When you go your own path and your own way and step into that leadership role, and you might already be in a leadership role, but that leadership role might ask you to break off from where you have been leading. It might ask you to move in a new direction. It might ask you to even take up a completely different cause or a completely different path. What you're going to find is that when you're not hindered by the external opinions of others so much and aren't forced and not having it like literally shoved down your throat all the time, you get a lot done. And not only that, but there are a lot of people who will benefit under your leadership, because there are a lot of people that need to be seen and need to be nurtured by you. Part of what your power has the ability to do is to show people that they can be brave enough to stand up for what they believe in too. They can be strong enough to face challenges when there is no certainty of how things will turn out. And not only that, you are here to show people that they don't have to be limited by their woundings, don't have to be limitations. They can be battle scars that they wear with pride or that they find meaning in, that helps them continue forward to create a world where maybe those scars wouldn't ever be created. You are in a position where you are flowing with where life is guiding you and cultivating such a deep connection with yourself. And truthfully, part of this is not even your doing. It is just your intuition and your spirit getting so loud and so strong that like, I know I say a lot like anxiety screams, intuition whispers. Your intuition has a megaphone. Like the anxiety screaming can't even, your intuition's louder. It's got that loud ass megaphone and it's speaking to you loud and clear. And when you listen to it, you will see almost immediately like how things shift for you and how much more easily things flow and how much more energy you have, hope, resolve, resilience, and determination you have for what you're doing and why you're doing it and where you're going and what your goals are. I definitely see here that the power that you're stepping into is one of compassionate leadership, loving leadership, and one that is trying to create a more loving, more supportive world in whatever way holds meaning to you. And I definitely think one of the beautiful things about this power is that you're learning to trust yourself. And a lot of the doubts that you had in the past, a lot of the ways in which you might have beat yourself up, that's falling to the wayside because you're realizing, number one, you're allowed to make mistakes. That's human. And also, there is no perfect way. There is no perfect response to things. There is no perfect solution. But it's better to do something than not. It's better to get out there and at least try than sit on your ass and criticize. You know what I mean? And you know that. But I definitely think that you've questioned yourself a lot. And a lot of that questioning is not because you're incapable or unworthy to be in the position that you are. It's just because there's a lot of toxic nonsense, especially with the internet now. And what you and the power that you are wielding is just getting you ready to handle challenges that you're going to be ready for. And it's fine because you eat challenge for breakfast. I feel like you're like, yeah, what else is new? I'm always dealing with challenges. Yeah, you are. Your soul kind of signed up for it. I hate to break it to you. But you're like, I don't care. Yeah. It's part of what you were made for. And your spirit is a fighter, and your spirit fights in the name of justice, of love, of a better human condition. And that's an absolutely beautiful thing to fight for, and the divine is behind you every step of the way. And one of the things that your power is going to do is show people how to use their power in productive, wise, and positive ways that lead to change, grounded change, and lead to a grounded understanding of what we can expect change to look like, or what is fair and realistic to hold leaders to. You are meant to be a leader in a way where you lead by example and show others what empowered leadership looks like, instead of domineering, controlling, bossiness under the guise of leadership. I'm not saying you do that, but I'm sure you've experienced that. You have dragons to slay, but you are one, so it's fine. And I definitely think you are someone that came here to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, and to stand up for all beings, even the ones you disagree with, even the ones that you just want to have a permanent mute button for, and recognize that they don't need to see the vision, they don't need to understand you, and they can do what they want to do, but that's not stopping you from doing you. And you've always known that cognitively, but how this power is shifting you is, in the past, those things that planted seeds of doubt, they're like hooks. They're hooks that came from insecurities about your own ability. And what this power is doing is making you realize you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out in order to be an effective leader, in order to be a good leader, in order to lead in general. And realizing that a lot of that criticism in the first place comes from others' insecurity. And it doesn't hit you the same way when you accept who you are and accept what your deal is and what you will and won't put up with. So your boundaries are getting stronger. And I also just think that in integrating all this power, you're moving forward a lot more quickly. I also think that your perspective is a bit more advanced than what a lot of human beings can consciously comprehend right now. So part of the reason why they might criticize it is because they literally cannot comprehend the vision. It's too multidimensional, it's too complex, too nuanced. I think that there are a lot of people that are still learning how to go beyond like black and white thinking and this or that thinking, all or nothing thinking. And those types of thought patterns, while they will still be ever present, will not hinder you from sharing your perspective anyway. You know, not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to understand it, but you get it. You understand it. And there are people who will. And the people that do will be loyal supporters that will make moving forward so much easier for you and make change so much more tangible and so much more visible. You're not here to role play as, you know, an agent for change. You're here to be an agent for change. You're not here to you know, dream of a better world. You're here to make one. And that can be messy, dirty work, but you're not afraid of that. And the powerful thing is that your intuition is getting so strong, you're going to find the most effective ways to get there. And the beautiful thing about this that other people might not understand is that part of what this power is actually doing for you is, in the face of disappointment and injustice, which is something that we experience on a daily basis, you are seeing through it. This power is allowing you to play the long game and see beyond what's happening right now. And what are the effects of this? What are the results of this? How does this affect this thing over here? And how do all those things play together? And how do I see them looking 5 years from now, just based on what's happening? Like, you are playing a long game. And the thing is too, is that there are going to be things that happen that are like, that maybe once would have been debilitating for you to process, that will be debilitating for others to process. And you will see it, and you will know what you need to do, or how you need to endure this, or how you need to support yourself and others through this until there's change. And I feel like you'll even have intuitive insights on how things will change. Or, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I know this isn't permanent. Or I know this is going to change. Or I know that if I'm in this spot, if I'm heading in this direction, I know I'm doing all I can do, and I'm at peace with that. You are learning to be a storm of change, but you're the eye of it. You are the calm when everyone else is freaking out. You are the one that has a centered vision when other people need your strength and leadership and guidance. You are the one that people will go to when they need someone to hold them down. And I will say, I do think that the universe is setting you up to find people that will help do the same for you, because I know how burdensome that job is and how hard it can be. But you will be brought there. You will be brought to those people. And actually, part of this process of falling away and removing yourself is making space for people like that to come in. But I will say that those people will be fewer and further between. Because I do think there are going to be a lot of people that are looking to you and being guided by you and that are supporting you. But you will still have those connections. And I'm sure you already have some of those in your life. But what you're doing is incredible. And if you just feel burnout and exhausted, give yourself time and space to integrate that. Because I feel like one thing that you're going to find too is that when you don't have the energy to keep going, when you really are just like, I can't even like focus on things right now, there's reason for that. It's probably because you're burnt out, compassion fatigued, and literally just need rest. You're still human, even though what you are capable of doing and capable of handling is definitely superhuman. You need that time to rest. And I know that might be just the hardest thing to hear. Because it's like, because you're like, I would rather accept the challenges and the burden than accept, oh, I just need to rest and hang out. But you're not useless for doing that. You're literally just recharging your battery so you can keep going. Even the Energizer Bunny has its limits, okay? And I think for you, soldiers need to rest before battle. And you do too. And what you might find too is that in times before great change and great forward momentum, you sleep a lot. And that's because definitely, number one, you're being healed spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And two, it's helping you shed things. You're doing things in your dreams. You're integrating a lot of energy and a lot of power through that rest. And then it gets to work when you're ready to go again. So this is really awesome. And so you're just getting stronger, more powerful, and doing that in the name of justice, truth, love, and change. And I love to see that. So we're going to go ahead and get into your tarot now. And I do just want to say thank you for being here. And if you're enjoying this reading, feel free to like the video, because that helps me and helps others see this beautiful reading. Aw. I love having this Lovers come up, because I just really do feel like you can make positive change and make the best choices for you. You don't have to stay stuck on a sinking ship when you know that you should be rowing in a different direction. You know what I mean? Like, I think that also you underestimate your ability to create like grassroots, like to start things. Like you're a starter. Like you could really start things and change the way things are run and things are done. So like do not underestimate how actually powerful you are, because like really any direction you want to go in, you can create powerful change. Like this is a type of power where like people would say to you, you should probably publicly say you're not gonna unalive yourself, because like this is gonna upset some people. Like that's that sort of thing. And I respect the hell out of that. I do not respect the fact that I have to say unalive. Please never actually say that out in person. I hope most of you don't. But I hate that is becoming a part of language, because it's literally censorship. And it's disgusting. But gotta do what I gotta do to get my messages out. So, you know, gotta do it, babe. Sorry. Anyway, another thing that's really helpful, if you want to, just letting the ads play for like 30 seconds. That's enough to support me, and then you can do whatever. So thank you to everyone who does that. But just give this one more good shuffle. And let's see. How can group 3 step into these energies now or receive these energies? Is there anything they can do, or will this happen naturally? Okay, yeah, I think the best way to I do think that there are things that you need to end. Whether it's certain relationships, certain groups you're involved in, certain ways of living, certain ways of connecting that are just not helpful for you. I do think an ending will be created if you do not do one yourself. I do think that there is change here that will be profound. And maybe for some of you it's already happened, and so you're just integrating that change. But ultimately, to step into this energy, you have to trust yourself enough to know where your gifts, your talents, your voice, and your power are not being utilized. And you'll know, because deep down you'll feel just this urge. Like, first of all, it'll probably, like, the environment itself will probably feel kind of suffocating, and you'll probably be really drained after you leave that environment or after you interact with people in that environment. And you'll know deep down that like this situation is not sustainable. Whatever it is that needs to end is not sustainable. But the challenge is that you might feel like, well, am I giving up on the greater cause, or am I turning my back on that? Is that selfish? First of all, no. And second of all, maybe it's actually selfish to stay in that situation, because maybe you could serve things a lot better in a different one that worked better for you. I don't think it's selfish. I think it's just a misguided idea that you have to stay where you are in order to be an effective agent of change. Other people don't know what you're capable of, and you don't even know what you're capable of, but the divine does. And that's why they have put such a powerful spark within you. And that's why your intuition is being bolstered so loudly, because listening to your intuition will make waves and change things in ways that are so powerful. And like, I just love to see it. And whatever blocks that, gotta go. And if you're not the one that changes it, universe will make it happen. So it's up to you. Just like, how long do you want to stay in a situation that you know you've outgrown? So let's see if there are any blockages related to stepping into this power, or just owning your power in general. Let's see how to release them. So how can group number 3 release any blockages to the power that they already have, or the power they are about to step into? You have the King of Pentacles. So I really do think that this is about recognizing the finite power of your energy, your resources, your ability to give to others. One of the blockages here, if you have a rocky relationship with a father figure, or an ex, or like a past powerful partner, or a past like boss or leader, I do think that whatever beliefs you cultivated about yourself because of that experience, that might still be a blockage. Because I do think if this interpretation is meant for you, it is one, There are definitely insecurities and beliefs about yourself that were cultivated from these sources that are not yours to carry, and they are not even true. But I do think that they will dissipate naturally as you step into this, but it just might be really uncomfortable and a little bit confronting to deal with what this power asks of you, especially in the beginning. But you'll be able to handle it, and you'll learn. So like, you don't need to like eliminate them. I think for some of you, depending on how deep this runs, like there might be lingering aspects of it for a really long time, and that's okay. And they might reawaken sometimes, and that's also okay. But when that happens, really ask yourself where it comes from, and is it even true? And think about the source that brought it to you, and why they might have wanted you to feel that way about yourself. Because it's probably something they were feeling about themselves that they projected onto you. And it'll probably be something you can help shake off. But also with this King of Pentacles, you know, one of the blockages that you may have is around like getting support or resources, or looking legit enough. You don't need to look legit. You don't need to, a lot of what you may think you need, you don't. And it actually brings me back, because like when I was saying like a sinking ship, I was thinking about, I almost just had this vision of you getting off and rowing in your own boat and just going your own way while everyone else was trying to like run this powerful ship that wasn't moving. I feel like for some of you, you may be able to just do more with less, and it might actually be more effective for you to do so. I think I just said the same thing over and over again. I literally prayed that I wouldn't repeat myself unnecessarily before I did this reading, and I'm doing that. But hey, maybe that's because you've been unnecessarily repeating lessons that you've already learned, because it's really challenging for you to trust yourself. I think trusting yourself is one of the greatest ways you can release blockages to this power. That's actually it. You can trust yourself, and in fact, the more you do, the more you'll realize, oh wow, I knew more than I thought, and wow, my intuition had some good stuff for me. I also think you'll realize that looks can be deceiving, and that's actually one aspect of this power that I did want to mention, is like you're seeing through, and I kind of already highlighted it, you know, when other people see the end of the world, you see a pathway into resurrection, into expansion. You find a way, whatever lemons are hurled your way, you're making lemonade. And when other people see a dead end, you see a shortcut. You see things that other people don't, because you think creatively, and you're also not limited by rigid ways of thinking. Maybe you are sometimes, but that's part of what this power is dissipating. I mean, everybody is, right? But rigid ways of thinking and how things should be done, especially in certain, you know, greater goals. You're realizing that maybe that's not how things need to be. And just releasing the idea that you have to do things the way the people before you did, especially when you've been a part of them and you've seen for yourself the pitfalls and shortcomings of that, especially if in those environments or following those people or, you know, working under them, your talents and gifts were underutilized and you saw many pathways to do things differently that you never got the opportunity to. Maybe it's your time to do that. Something to think about. But ultimately, don't undervalue or undermine what you're bringing to the table and what your intuition is calling you to do, because other people do it differently, or you've never seen anyone else do it that way. That's what leaders do. They do things differently, ways people never have seen before. Okay, so let's see what blessings you will receive for stepping into and embodying this power. What blessings will group number 3 receive for stepping into? Dude, okay, first of all, much better people around you. Like, people that actually, like, make you happy, and actual opportunities to celebrate. I think one of the most frustrating things about where you've been is that, like, you work so hard for this change, and maybe it's disappointing, or maybe things just don't happen, or maybe there's just no room for you to celebrate the wins that you do get. I also feel like whatever pathway you're feeling called towards, it actually can be way more enjoyable when you have more agency and freedom and get to utilize the talents you were born with and channel them in meaningful ways. I feel like you're also connecting with people that you'll just have more fun. And I think as well, the change that you're creating, there just will be a lot of opportunities for celebration and for connection and for joy and hope in ways where, you know, the battle's not over. Or, well, you know, the battle may be over, but the war isn't. And we maybe only have tonight to celebrate, but we're going to celebrate. And then tomorrow, we'll gear up and we'll keep fighting for what we believe in, or we'll keep charging forward. I really think for you guys, this is about finding community and creating community that prioritizes what you prioritize and that sees your leadership, values it, but also doesn't see you as, put you on a pedestal or as a thing above them. You're still part of the community you created. And there's genuine respect for each other and respect for the human complexities that come with any group. I definitely think that one of the blessings to come is that you'll be feeling a lot lighter, having a lot more fun, and you're just not going to be bogged down in the way you were. And it's going to be really liberating to be with people that not only see your vision, but feel seen by you because you have that vision, and finally have someone who is courageous enough to stand up and share it so that they could support you. Like, you are somebody that is paving the way for others to do in the way that you always wished you could. And you're starting it, and which is hard because you're a pioneer. You're forging a path that wasn't really there, but you could do it. You know you can. And I think you're going to have fun doing it because the people standing behind you are going to have the same vision. And when you achieve something, you're actually going to celebrate it. And you're going to recognize, and also too, I think you're going to have people that acknowledge and recognize just how valuable what you bring to the table is. And you're not going to have to fight for your value to be seen and for others to recognize you. Because I think you recognize others and you support others, but you just haven't gotten that same energy back. And that's part of the blessing of this, is that you will. Especially because you're shining, your gifts are shining, and you're standing up in the ways you always wanted to. Okay, well, I love this question. I'm glad I wrote down this question. For group 3, how will embodying this power help others? How won't it? Yeah, I mean, we have the Hermit. You are going to help others by showing them that they can go their own way, and that they can learn to listen to their own light, and that they don't have to be understood by everyone else. You will help others by showing them the wisdom of following their own intuition even when it doesn't make sense, of exploring a different way of being when there's no other representations of it around them. And not only that, you're helping others by helping them get in touch with themselves, and also helping their inner worlds that are complex, that are messy, that maybe aren't well defined, and realize that it's okay to start bringing that out, even if it isn't defined, even if it's still just a messy amalgamation of different things, showing people that there's still value in that, and that you can still do something tangible and productive with that. And I also think how you will help others is show them that there is power in going your own way sometimes, and there is power in never giving up on your light and feeling free to walk away from spaces that want to put it out, even if you have common ideas. I also think one way you will help others, we cannot ignore the fact that the Hermit is connected to Virgo energy. And if Virgo has one shadow, it's definitely relentless criticism and obsessive overanalysis. So I think you will help others see how those energies and those behaviors can really undermine the good you're trying to create and can hold you back from moving forward, and show them that you don't need perfection, you just need progress. You don't need validation, you just need courage. You don't need external acceptance, you just need the willingness to trust in what happens and the acceptance of the result. and the willingness to learn from it if it doesn't unfold the way you want it to. You're really showing people, you're helping others by showing them wisdom that they wouldn't access otherwise. And I really think, like, in a lot of ways, like, you are here to help the world and the collective, but I think you're also here to help those that are here to help the world and collective in ways where they wouldn't get that help otherwise. It's like the activist, you know, or the leader for leaders. You get what I'm saying? You're that role for others, and I definitely think you will find yourself blown away in the future by the butterfly effect of you choosing to go your own way. How many people you inspire, how many new paths will be forged. Like, it's so much more than just your goals and where you're headed. The way that you will inspire and empower others will create a ripple effect of change that started with you deciding to go your own way. That is just absolutely incredible. And like, I just have to say, like, I just admire the shit out of you. And I can't wait for you to step into this, because you are really going to see how you were far more prepared than you realize, and you were capable of doing this stuff all along. So let's go ahead and finish off by looking at how your life will get easier as a result of stepping into this power, and how you as a person will evolve. So to start, we have, I am open to receive. So yeah, I definitely feel like you're going to learn how to receive help, but also just receive your own guidance and your own wisdom, and receive wisdom from different sources. I also think that you may have to do things that are uncomfortable. Like, actually, one of the blockages I didn't think of is that you might have to do things like fundraise or things like that. And that might be overwhelming, but you will realize that it's actually not that bad, and it's really exciting to see how you can actually garner material resources to create positive change. And I think you'll actually find that you have a knack for it and get a lot less uncomfortable with it when you realize how it can empower you to just create more good. Didn't I talk about this earlier? Surrender your need to always be right. I definitely think that be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. I think in a lot of ways, like, it's not even that you need to have conflicts with certain people. I feel like you'll just kind of recognize where you don't even need to prove yourself, or where you don't need to explain yourself, especially because I do feel like you've had experiences of people that wanted to interpret you in bad faith, or that just like kind of wanted to tear down whatever it is you had to say or whatever you thought. And so I feel like you're recognizing, I don't need to prove to these people that I'm right. And also, I think for you, maybe part of the tension and stress of, I don't know if I want to lead, I don't know if I want to go in this unknown direction, because what if I'm wrong? What if I do something wrong? I feel like that will help you realize, like, oh, it's okay to be wrong. That's how I learn. And taking accountability for that, like, and also recognizing when you don't need to take crap from other people, because other people really do think that it is their place to hold you accountable, and believe that they get to lash you every day and hold it over you. And you don't have to hold on to that. You don't have to listen to it. You just be like, it's not even your job to hold me accountable. I hold myself accountable. I have other people in my life that I respect and love, and they will hold me accountable if I don't. Like, you will know where you don't need to prove yourself. And this is definitely an energy of learning to pick your battles, and also learning to accept outcomes in pursuit of a worthy cause, and pursuit of something greater than your fear of being wrong. The love of what you want to create is stronger than the fear of messing up, looking dumb, or being wrong. I look dumb all the time. We all do. We're humans. It's what we do. We also have forgiveness, and I definitely think that's being extended to yourself. The trigger statement is, I did not deserve this, and the true statement is, I forgive. Allow the labels of judgment to disappear. See the situation and individuals through your heart, and forgive yourself. Yeah, I really do feel like if you're feeling burnt out in certain situations, you will let go of that as you grow. But also recognizing, like, you know, maybe certain ways people treated you, you just didn't deserve that. And it really sucks that you had to deal with it. But I'm glad that if not soon, you will be able to let go of it and recognize a lot of that stuff that you were holding on to didn't have anything to really do with you. We also have awaken. The trigger statement is, I don't know what to do. And the true statement is, every moment is a new opportunity. So this is exactly what I was saying. When other people see a blockage or a wall, you see a new path. You see a shortcut. You are going to awaken this ability to have like, almost like a different level of vision where you see pathways, shortcuts, workarounds, new routes, where others just see a dead end. And that is going to empower you in ways you won't even realize. And other people might think you're crazy. Other people might not see it. But if they choose to support you and follow you, they'll see the light. Take time today to engage your senses and create. The tension that has been dividing your head and heart is leaving. Yeah, you'll definitely be more trusting of yourself and more in alignment with what you believe in. And I just feel like your heart will be feeling really good. And your heart will be at peace with where you're at and with your imperfections and with where you still need to grow. Because you know you're doing the best that you can, and that is enough. And you're doing a hell of a lot more than most people are, and can carry a hell of a lot more than most people can. And finally, okay. Give me some of this. Tolerance. You appreciate other points of view because you see the love in everyone. You may have a hard time seeing the love in everyone, but you will be able to tolerate certain things and tolerate certain behaviors. Maybe not in your inner circle or in your environment, but in passing, being cordial, but also just tolerating the imperfection of trying to create change in a world hell-bent on staying the same. Learning greater tolerance will definitely just help you create more effective change and also be a more effective communicator and a more effective source of inspiration and agent for change, because I keep using that word, agent for change. Because when people don't feel like you're attacking them, they're more open to hearing what you have to say. And a lot of times people won't want to change their minds, or they won't change. And just accepting that will save you a lot of stress and burden and wondering why people can't see things the way that you do. I don't know, maybe they're just meant to be the adversaries in your cool badass hero story, but at least tolerating them and not holding on to it allows you to focus on what is truly important. And you are important. Your vision is important. Where you're moving is important. Where you're going is important. And yeah, you're super important. And I'm so glad I got to do this reading. I'm really honored I got to do this reading, actually, because you are somebody that I'm just like, I'm inspired by. And that like, I just see as, like, I see why the universe loves you so much. I see why your guides love you so much. I see why so much works in your favor and why you might feel like they don't. And it's only because you set yourself in situations where people don't want to work in your favor because they're intimidated by your power. And when you let go of that and just step into your own and go your own way, you are going to be unstoppable. Unstoppable. And feel free to let us know let me know, like, what cool things you do. Anyway, pile 3, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, thank you so much for watching the first 30 seconds of my ads. After that, you can skip. That is just enough to support me. Maybe go to 35 just to be safe. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, liking this video, commenting down below, letting me know how it resonates, subscribing if you haven't already, clicking that little notification bell, all super helpful ways to support me. You can check out my candles, merch, social media, other videos, ones with extendeds, and you can share me with a friend, with your social media, with anything really. You can just send me some love. I'm sending you some back. That's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!